Hi, everyone. Today we have Amanda with us. Amanda, why don't you give everybody your intro and what you're doing?
Okay. Hi guys, or all of Iris Food subscribers. My name is Amanda Zhang, and I'm an incoming freshman on the Stanford women's gymnastics team. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experience and how I became a Stanford student athlete.
Awesome. So could you explain what college D1, D2, D3 athletics are and how college athletics work for for
Mhm.
people who have literally no background in how this thing works?
Yeah. So D1, it kind of plays out in terms of how much money they give you, like a scholarship. So D1 is they can give scholarships and stuff like that. And that's like the best of the best, most competitive. There's a bunch of different sectors, like there's Pac-12, SEC, Big 10, or is it Big 12? I don't know. They have that. It's just like D1 is the biggest sector. And then there's D2, and that's like they still give scholarships, but not as much. They probably give half scholarship or just some aid, I guess. But they're not as good. It's not as competitive with each other, you know? And then D3 is like they give no money at all. And it's like so it's kind of like based on how much money they give you and how competitive it is.
Okay, awesome. So is Stanford D1 for everything? And then what about the Ivy?
Stanford is D1 for everything. And then the Ivies, I'm not really sure about other sports, but they were considered D1, but they kind of fall into D3 too because they don't give any money. Don't quote me on that though.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Interesting. Wait, so with Stanford athletics, so basically every single athlete would get a full scholarship?
So every team has a certain amount of scholarships they can give. So let's say there were 3 seniors on the team and they all got full rides. So once they graduate, there's 3 more full rides available. So it kind of bumps down like that. And then it's just like they have a certain amount of money and they can divide it up however they like. But there's still walk-on positions available. So they're on the team, but they don't get any scholarship. Yeah.
Got it. Very interesting. Okay. So if you got a scholarship from athletics, then your financial aid basically goes down a little bit because the scholarship is covering it.
If you get a full scholarship, you don't get financial aid because they cover it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I got a 3-year scholarship, so I have to pay my junior year, and then I could get financial aid for that specific year. But you can always gain more money, like you can earn it in the future too. So let's say sophomore year, I really improved, and they decided that I deserved a 4-year scholarship, then they would give me money for that junior year.
So could you just give us a little bit of when you decided that you wanted to be a college athlete and how the recruiting process works?
Okay, so I guess for me, the recruiting process was really long. I started really recruiting in freshman year of high school, basically. So after 8th grade, I decided that I wanted to kind of explore the elite route of women's gymnastics, basically. So there's the JO level, which is the generic competitive gymnastics, and then if you go one step further, that's the elite level. So I decided I wanted to kind of explore that area. And then that's when I decided that I wanted to do college gymnastics, basically. So freshman year, I sent out a bunch of emails to all the schools on that I was looking at, and Stanford was one of them. So once I sent out the email, the head coach at the time, she contacted my club coach, and that's how we communicated at first. But then in sophomore year, there was a switch with the coaching staff. So I decided to kind of just keep talking to them, but I had to build a new relationship with the new coach, basically. And during this time, we would call every single month. I know it's kind of crazy, but the 8th of every month, we would call each other, and we wouldn't even talk about gymnastics really. We would just get to know each other and build a relationship, basically. And this is when I knew that Stanford was going to be my top choice, and it's all or nothing, basically. Because Stanford has a very different recruiting process than some other schools, because we have student athletes have to apply normally, and we have to get into the school before becoming a student athlete. Unlike some other state schools, you can just verbally commit and you're basically into the school. So I just kept going on this process. And then junior and senior year, that's when I started to really if I don't go to Stanford, I might not even do gymnastics at all, because it was my dream to go there. And so I just kept in contact. I sent them videos. They came to watch me at competitions and stuff. And so we just kept on, going through this process. And then eventually, come like January of junior year, I think. They sent me an application, and then that's when I started working on the application, and then I sent it in. I got in, so here we are. Yeah.
Wow,
It was a long process.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit stressful. It's like all or nothing, you said.
Yeah.
I guess digging into that a little bit more, like what would have happened if you got rejected junior year, January, when you sent in that?
Well, so I did have a couple of other schools looking at me, but since Stanford has such a late verbally commitment kind of thing compared to other schools, I had to like kind of blow off these other schools and say, no, you're my second choice now. So they went ahead and started looking at other girls because, you know, time is of the essence in the recruiting world. So if I got rejected, I would probably just try to talk to these other schools that I was looking at, but it's not guaranteed that I would have a spot on that team. So that's why it's like all or nothing, you know? So, yeah.
Wow. So if you got rejected from Stanford during your junior year, could you like apply again as not a student athlete?
Yeah, I could apply normally, but probably my chances would be like reduced a little bit, I guess, but that's still an option. I probably would have done that, get in the first time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then this is kind of my own question. So there's a soccer girl in our class. I think her name's Astrid, and I think she committed like her freshman year or something. So do you have any idea as to like how that works?
So a couple of years ago, there was a change in the rules of recruiting, basically. So like 5 years ago, people were committing to colleges in like 7th grade and 8th grade and stuff like that. Or like, how do you know they're even going to like continue with the sport? So NCAA came up with this rule that was like, you can't like directly communicate with the coaches until your first day of junior year. So because of this, like they pushed the commitment dates back, and like, so when people got older, then they would commit. But I still know people that were committed to like UCLA since 8th grade or something like that. So yeah, she could have been one of those girls that committed a long time ago. Yeah, before this like new rule.
So if you couldn't verbally communicate with the coaches until junior year, then how are you able to communicate?
So it's kind of weird. Like I could call the coaches, but they couldn't contact me. So like I could text them and be like, I'm gonna call you in 15 minutes, and they could pick up. And if they didn't pick up, they couldn't call me back. I would just have to say, okay, I'll call you again in 15 minutes. Like it was very one-sided, but we could still like talk over the phone, if that makes sense.
I see. Yeah, very interesting. What were some helpful resources that you found along the way in like learning about how this whole process worked?
Definitely just like reading. A lot of websites have like the NCAA rules and stuff. If you go to ncaa.org, they have a lot of like steps and rules that you can look at. So that was like a major resource, I guess. But I'd say the biggest resource for me was the Stanford coach herself. Like, because Stanford was the most major school I was talking to, and like I spent a lot of time with them just like communicating. So they kind of told me what to do and like what steps to follow. So I didn't really like research that much. I kind of just talked to the coach herself, because that's how you become more like open with them and you get direct information.
Got it. That makes sense. So it looks like you started really early, and a lot of people start really early. So is there like a time when it's too late to start for recruiting?
No. Well, I'd say like some people, they get like walk-on spots if they're just like senior year, like I want to do this. And I've seen people quit like sophomore year and come back. Like they took a year off and they came back and they still got a D1 spot. So like it's really how much effort you put into it, and just like how often you're communicating with the coach. Like you could probably not be that good, and there are people who are better than you and stuff like that. But if you make yourself known to these colleges and they just see emails and all of your videos, they'll probably gain some more interest and stuff like that.
Okay, so how did you get the contact information of the coaches to start with?
Oh yeah, every school has a roster. So if you just look up like Stanford women's gymnastic head coach, and then their emails, their phone numbers, and everything will pop up. And that's pretty much like for every school except for a few, but it's pretty much like all over the internet. You can find it pretty easily.
So I've gotten questions like, do I need to win a lot of awards for coaches to actually pay attention to me? Or like, what do I need to do to get coaches to actually like notice me? So why do you think the coaches started actually talking to you when you emailed or called them? And what do you have for other people who are looking to get coaches to notice them?
Like like, I'm not the best in my class. Like, some of the girls in my class have gone to World, and one of them have even gone to the Olympics before. And clearly, I had never gone to the Olympics before, or even at that level. But I think a major reason why I got in and I have the spot that I have today is just like consistency with how you're communicating with them. And the calls that I had every single month, those were really beneficial for me. Like, a major reason for that is because the coach wanted to call me every month. Like, that's what she does. But some advice I would give to just like other students out there that want to become D1 athletes or something like that is just write monthly or weekly emails to them. And if you have any update videos, just send them over. The smallest thing, like even the smallest thing counts, you know? So just try to like, don't overload their inbox, but just keep consistency with like how many times you're sending it. And just, yeah, the more the merrier, basically.
So what if they're not responding to your emails? Like, should you keep doing it?
Well, they can't respond until junior year. Yeah. So, but they can talk to club coaches. Like, it's like a three-way communication type thing, you know? So it's kind of confusing, but at the end of your emails, you could say like, feel free to contact my coach for any questions or something. Or you can even ask your club coach or your high school coach to be like, can you talk to them, like your college coach or whatever, about me? Or have them answer the question or something like that. So it's just like, I don't know, it's very confusing, but you just gotta push through it, you know? Even if it seems like they're ignoring you, don't stop. Just don't stop. Yeah.
Great advice. Okay, so now for the international students out there who don't know how this like US system works, is it basically the same thing where they need to get their coach to be in contact with the college coach and this like triangle thing?
I think so. Like, there are 2 international girls in my class, and from what I've heard, they've done the same thing. Like, they kept calling, they've sent emails. It's pretty much the same thing. I don't know if the rules apply to them, like the junior year rule, but I think it does. I might have to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure all the rules are the same, and the way they communicate with each other is the same.
Okay, so nothing changes for international students.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. And then how do you know you actually have a solid chance? So it seems like, you know, you made a school list for yourself freshman year. So how did you know that like Stanford's like within reach? And what do you think other people should consider when they evaluate their own profile?
Mm-hmm. Something I did freshman year was I looked at the videos that they post on YouTube and just like ESPN. If you watch the competitions, they have a bunch of videos and stuff. I would really be honest with yourself. Like, when you're watching those girls compete on the college team that you're looking at, like, you have to evaluate if you can be like them, or like if you can get to that level. Because for me, like, UCLA is one of the best women's gymnastics teams out there, and personally I did not reach out to them because I didn't feel like I was up to their standard, you know, because they have Olympians and all the best gymnasts out there. So personally, I didn't think I would reach that level. But something that Stanford had that stood out to me was they had a really good gymnastics team that fit me, and it had good academics. So it's just like you have to take into consideration all these different like factors and stuff like that. But I think something that's really important is like look at videos of these college teams and see if you meet that standard.
Did you look at the Ivies at all? Because I know a lot of the viewers are also interested in recruiting for the Ivies. So how
Yeah.
teams compare to Stanford's?
I did look at UPenn and Yale, their gymnastics teams, but they weren't like as close. Well, Stanford's here for gymnastics, so they're like down here for gymnastics. So I personally didn't, like reach out to them as much. But something that the Ivies do differently than Stanford is that they can't give scholarship because they're considered a D3. Well, like they're D1, but they can't give scholarship. So it's like, that's a kind of a turnoff for me when it comes to like gymnastics and the vibes of the Ivies. Just, I wasn't into that. So, yeah, but
I love it. It's like a mild trashing of the
I mean, Stanford's the best, so it had the perfect balance for me. That's why I chose it.
I think that's about all the questions I had for you. If you have anything you want to add on.
I don't know. Do your viewers want to know anything about academics, or is that just like?
I don't know. I feel like this video is probably more on like the recruiting process. So unless anything with like academics that you feel like is integrated with that.
Well, something that's important, I guess, is like Stanford has it's like a more rigorous academic need-based college, I guess. Like Personally, like I had to take all IB classes senior year and then like 4 junior year. So like Stanford is one of those schools where they really want you to like challenge yourself academically too. But yeah, in general, it kind of depends on what college you're going to and what the coaches want.
Actually, one question on balancing athletics with academics. So I know you haven't actually like started yet, but like from people, older girls, like what have you heard about like how doable that is?
I've heard that a lot of the girls just they need to manage their time very well. Like for us, we have practice at 7 a.m. So it's 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So they have to like plan out their day accordingly. But student athletes, they get a lot of help with like advisors and stuff to help people with that. So I think it's pretty easy. Well, it's not easy, but like it's better in college than in high school because you have someone there to like help you plan your day and just like help you balance everything.
Right, because I guess in high school you still had to balance everything, but you're on your own.
Time management is key.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on today.
Of course.
I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
If you guys, actually, maybe I'll just make another outro because wait, I don't know how to end this.
Here, I'll be like, thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun today, and it's a pleasure to be here. Go subscribe. Like and subscribe and comment down your favorite comment.
Exactly. Amanda has a YouTube channel. She just reminded me of this because she's like and subscribe. So, not want me to shout it out.
You know, I'm kind of like lost my mojo, but maybe shout me out, and then this will motivate me to finish my video.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can check out. I think Amanda has 1, 2. I feel like a few videos. You made one on graduation.
Yeah.
They're funny.
I sure hope so.
All right. Yeah, like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more.
Yeah.
This is getting so cheesy.